This is Kambiz Nafisi, and I'm especially passionate about today's topic, which is making peace with your past so you can move on. You see, in the past, some circumstance, some person may have hurt you deeply, and that hurt was too intense for you to release, and therefore you stuffed it inside you, and that hurt may still be boiling over and surfacing sometimes in your own life. In my own case, 8 years into my own spiritual journey, I still had unresolved issues with my mom, which was sometimes interfering with some of my relationships. Now, the first step in making peace with the past is to come to a decision that you want to move on and you want to make peace. However, that is not a mental decision. You cannot make up your mind to make peace with your past, to move on. This is a highly emotional decision, and the emotions rest in your heart. So the only way you're going to truly make peace is if your heart understands one key point, that none of what happened in the past was about my worth, or let's say my worthlessness. The heart needs to get it, that I have always been, and will always be deserving. If your heart gets that, then you'll be able to forgive and move on. Now, there's some key points that are very important in making peace with your past to move on. I'm going to give you 4 key points that will really help you move on. Point number 1, all of us humans have an ego. Me, 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 me. So the vast majority of my students who've been trying to move on keep personalizing everything that happened in the past, as if everything that happened in their past was about them. So you had somebody who had an airline pilot father who had missed 3 of her birthdays, and she kept thinking that Dad missed my birthday. You need to look deeper. Perhaps Dad was taking more flights because he wanted to ensure the economic survival of that family. Another student said, I was 7 years old. I was the firstborn male grandson of the family. I was surrounded by family members who adored me. And then one disastrous day, Mom walked into the house with a brand new baby, my baby sister. I ran into my room and cried my eyes out because I thought that was the end of love and attention. Again, you see, me, me, me. What you need to know is your sister being born had nothing to do with you becoming worthless. Another student said he was a teenager and the 2 parents established a new pharmacy, and they worked way too hard. So from the age of 13 to 16, he was lonely at home because his parents abandoned him. It wasn't about me, me, me. The 2 parents did their very best to make that pharmacy a success so that this son in the Netherlands would have enough college money. So point number 1, not everything was about you. Investigate, go deeper. There's economic hardships, there are recessions, there are baby sisters being born. Look deeper, and the technique of reframing means that you can look at your original perceptions. When Dad was missing your birthdays, when the baby sister was brought home, when your best friend kissed your girlfriend in the high school prom, what were your original perceptions? At this age, you are more mature, so redefine those interpretations and come up with a healthier, more realistic interpretation of what happened. Point number 2, very important point. Your parents were not gods. They were regular human beings. They had sex, some of them smoked marijuana, some of them were way too immature when they got married. They were not equipped to have children. All of them got conditioned by their own parents when they were 3 to 5 years old, let's say. So who you looked at as gods, they were not gods. They were human beings and they used to be children. They got conditioned by their own parents. So you see, if let's say I have a student, a lady who says, "Daddy never hugged me in a warm way." So I had her look into the childhood of her dad. Turned out that he was one of 9 children who was never ever held as a baby. If your father was never held warmly by his parents, how do you expect him to be able to be very warm while he's embracing you? So the second key point was your parents were regular human beings. When we're much younger, we look at parents like gods. They weren't. They had insecurities, they had fears, they had survival needs. Some of them were way too young when they got married and had children. Look at them today as normal human beings. When you adjust your lens that way, you'll be less hurt about some of the things that happened in the past. None of what happened to you in the past was about your value and your worth. In other words, a baby sister being born was not about you losing your worth. If your parents were young hippies, way too immature to get married and become parents, the fact that they were immature and smoking pot and not catering to you as mature parents, that was not about you being worthless. If mom decided to get separated from your dad because your dad was drinking, that was not about you being worthless. At this age, you need to uncover some of those truths and understand one huge thing. You always have been worthy, you are worthy, and you will always be worthy. A lot of those things that happened in the past were not a reflection of your value and worth. The fourth really important point to understand if you're trying to get on and make peace with your past. Take personal responsibility today to make peace, to create peace within, and to be able to move beyond past hurts. How do you do that? Number one, never go to your parents or adult caretakers. Never put them on trial and expect them to admit to their faults. 99% of our adult caretakers will not admit to any of their faults while they were bringing you up. If you try that, you'll be disappointed, you'll get more angry because the adult caretakers will not be put on trial. Another important point here, never have the hope, never keep the hope that your parents are going to change. As long as you keep that hope that some of the important adult figures in your childhood are going to change, that very hope that your parents, your teachers, your priests are going to change, that hope is going to keep you from moving on. Just know that those adult caretakers were who they were. They did the best they knew how. You cannot sit here at the age of 24, 34, 54 and hope that one day those adult caretakers are going to change. That very hope that they will change is keeping you stuck. I hope this has helped you make peace with your past so you can move on. If you look at the video description, you get a much better idea of the more complete Coming Full Circle Self-Transformation course. God bless, Godspeed.